News time is 7 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Monday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast streaming to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Trick-or-treaters will converge on Clinton's southwest side this week for Halloween. Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers is encouraging parents and guardians to make sure costumes of those little ones are fit and they're not too long. That can become a tripping hazard for a child.
But when we talk about Halloween safety, we're going to start with the costume and the costume fit. And, looking out for tripping hazards. I remember my own kids when they were young, everybody wants to be a princess, but, we have to consider those tripping hazards when it comes to the costume. Loose, long costumes create tripping hazards. So make sure that they're, up off the ground where we're not going to have to worry about that. Any accessories that you may have, swords, knives, things of that nature should be short and flexible and soft. Nothing sharp, obviously. We try to keep those things in the form of foam or something like. When it comes to the masks, we ask parents to have their kids prop that mask up on their head until they get up to the door and then pull it down so that they can see where they're going. Not only to be able to see those tripping hazards, but crossing the street, things like that. We just want you to have good visual of your surroundings. So keep that on top of your head until you get up to the door. A bright and reflective material, obviously black is such a, we've got all these costumes that are dark in color. A reflective tape is a great thing. Put a X of reflective tape on their back. So headlights and things like that will make them more noticeable.
Chief Flowers encourages trick-or-treaters to travel in groups and stay in neighborhoods they're familiar with.
We ask for children under the age of 12 or 13 to be accompanied by an adult. Never trick-or-treat alone. Go in groups with a trusted adult and stay in known neighborhoods. Carry a flashlight, not only for yourself, but so that others can see you. Kids carrying glow sticks or having glow stick necklaces or bracelets is also a good thing to be able to be seen and more visual. Only go to homes with a light on. That's kind of the universal signal that somebody is participating in Halloween and trick-or-treating. Don't run, but walk between homes. This is a super exciting time for kids. And once they get the candy at this house, they just can't get to the next one fast enough. But, try to keep them contained, keep them walking rather than running. We don't want our local EMS picking up kids off the sidewalk with bum knees and things like that.
With the increase in children on community sidewalks, motorists in those areas are asked to slow down and pedestrians are asked to only cross at corners and designated crosswalks.
Walk on the sidewalks, not in the street, and cross at the corners. There'll be a tremendous amount of increased traffic during trick-or-treating. Most of it is just creeping along, but still, back to the lug nut rule. Let's slow down, be patient, keep those excited kids under control. When it comes to the treats, unfortunately, we say eat only factory wrapped treats, avoid homemade treats made by strangers. That was such a big thing when I was a kid. We knew which houses, Mrs. So-and-so made the popcorn balls every year, this and that. But, unfortunately, in today's world, we ask you to stick to factory wrapped treats. Have adults examine the candy before any consumption. Make sure that we get home and are able to examine all that candy before we turn it over to the kids. Another great idea is to give the kids a piece of gum or something. Keep their mouth occupied so they're not encouraged to eat candy during the trip. So just be safe. Again, adult supervision is paramount here.
Trick-or-treating hours are from 5 to 8 p.m. in Clinton. Also, be sure to check out trick-or-treating on the Clinton Square from 4 to 5 p.m. on Halloween afternoon. And check out trick-or-treating times in your community in Central Illinois by visiting DeWittDailyNews.com today. Central Illinois lawmaker is reacting to last week's veto session where not a lot got done from her perspective. State Senator Sally Turner explains often the legislature is kept in the dark on what the agenda is going to be going into the veto session.
Well, when you're in the super minority, you don't have that opportunity to know what's going to happen. So, and I will say probably in some of the, on the other side of the aisle, some of them probably don't know until late either. They probably know the path that they're going to take, but they don't know any specifics. But it's all leadership. They decide what bills we're going to hear and when we're going to hear them.
According to the Lincoln Republican, a bill passed to help protect the identity of DCFS workers and conceal their home addresses. Senator Turner also says there was an electric vehicle and charging station bill that would require new multifamily units or buildings with parking lots to have electric vehicle charging stations. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hey, Kate. So you think we've got tar spot?
In that field east of the river, for sure. That's why I'd go with that Brevant Seeds Corn Hybrid.
You got those soil test results?
Yep. We'll want to increase your potash recommendation.
Should I be using a pre-emerge for Mare's Tail?
Absolutely. And soon.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Nope. A hot dog is a hot dog.
If it matters in ag, your retailer knows it. That's why at Brevant Seeds, we work only with retailers. Find yours at Brevant.com.
Enel North America is dedicated to creating long-term shared value for our host communities. Enel is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the WHOW WEZC McLean County Community Spotlight, featuring the important work of a different McLean County nonprofit organization each month.
I'm Chuck Hartzell, Treasurer with Autism McLean, a resource and referral organization for families who have children, young adults, or relatives with autism. We make sure families know where to find what they need from the time they suspect their child might have autism. Find out more online at autismmclean.org.
Enel is a clean energy leader in North America and is working to electrify the economy and help build a net zero carbon future for Illinois. They're proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the WHOW WEZC McLean County Community Spotlight.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. It'll be a first for Clinton High School this coming weekend when the boys and girls cross-country teams compete for a state championship in Peoria. Saturday, both the boys and girls teams advance to the state finals. It's the first time the boys have qualified as a team for state since 2001. And the first for the girls since 1993. Drew Moser paced the boys' runners with an 8th place finish, while Michaela Keppel finished 10th on the girls' side. In a game heard here on WHOW Saturday afternoon, Clinton fell short on the road to Sullivan-Okaw Valley, 14-13 in the first round of the Class 3A high school football playoffs. The Maroons defense started the game strong, pushing the Redskins backwards and forcing a punt. However, that punt would bounce off of a Maroon and be recovered by the Redskins. The very next play, Sullivan-Okaw Valley quarterback Cooper Christensen found Hayden Moody for a 69-yard touchdown pass that put the Redskins up 6-0. But the Maroons would answer with a minute left in the first quarter as backup quarterback Keaton Graves' tipped pass was pulled in by Ryan Stapleton in the end zone for a 7-yard touchdown grab. The missed extra point tied the score at 6. Graves piloted the Maroons offense due to starter Mason Walker being sidelined by an IHSA suspension. Neither team scored until the Maroons used a halfback pass to find the end zone. With under a minute to play in the half, Graves tossed the snap to running back Tristan Potts, who found Colton Walker for the 32-yard strike. Clinton converted the extra point and went up 13-6 at the break. The second half was back and forth. Sullivan would score the game's final touchdown with a minute 38 to play in the third quarter when Christensen found Moody again from 12 yards out to make it 13-12. And the Redskins converted the 2-point conversion to go up 14-13. Both teams had chances to score in the fourth, but neither could punch it in as Sullivan held on for the win. Christensen led Sullivan, finishing 16 of 29 through the air with 228 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran 15 times for 84 yards. Aiden Ballinger had 9 catches for 123 yards. And Moody had 3 catches for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Redskins moved to 9-1 on the season. They traveled to Mount Carmel to take for a second round 3A high school football playoff game. Clinton was led by Tristan Potts, who had 22 carries and 148 yards, along with his 32-yard touchdown pass. Potts was the serve pro of Piatt-DeWitt County Player of the Game. Keaton Graves was 4 of 16 passing for 44 yards and a touchdown. He also had 9 carries for 27 yards, that is. And Colton Walker hauled in 4 catches for 68 yards and a touchdown. The Maroons conclude their season 6-4. In a game heard on WEZC and at DeWittDailyNews.com, a late turnover allowed DeCoin to run out the clock and hold off Monticello 28-21 in the first round of the Class 3A high school football playoffs in DeCoin Saturday afternoon. The Sages controlled most of the game with the top seeded and number 4 ranked team in Class 3A. After a 44-yard halfback pass from Ike Young to Nolan Bennykemper on the opening play from scrimmage, Monticello punched it in on a Sages 1-yard run from Luke Teschke. The Indians answered but had their extra point blocked to make it 7-6 Monticello. Rayden Colbert picked off a halfback pass in the end zone from DeCoin to keep the Indians off the board, then set up his own halfback throwback pass from Teschke in the second quarter to make it 14-6 Monticello. The Indians again answered back and converted the 2-point conversion to tie the score at 14. It remained tied until DeCoin went ahead 20-14 on a short 2-yard touchdown pass from Camden Waller to Luke Bauman. Monticello kept the back and forth going when Teschke hit Young on a wheel route that the junior punched in on a dive for the pylon to put the Sages up 21-20 on an incomplete pass that Waller threw away, trying to get out of a sack in the fourth quarter. He turned the handoff on a tailback to his other side. His throwaway was borderline intentional grounding, and an obvious illegal man downfield was missed. Later in the drive, on a 4th down after the incompletion, Waller found P.J. Winters for the go-ahead score to go up 28-21. From there, the Indians forced Monticello into a turnover on the ensuing drive, and they were able to run out the clock. There were only 2 flags against DeCoin for the game. Bauman had 40 carries for 176 yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 receiving and 1 rushing. Waller was 7 for 14 with 96 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception. Winters had 2 receptions with 2 touchdowns for 64 yards. Teschke for Monticello finished 15 for 21 with 160 yards and 2 touchdown passes with an interception. He also had 11 carries for 47 yards with a score. Young had 7 receptions for 77 yards with a touchdown and had 4 carries for 8 yards. Colbert finished with 3 receptions and a team-high 65 yards with a touchdown. He earned the Serve Pro of Piatt-DeWitt County's Player of the Game, as he also had a fumble recovery late in the first half that helped keep the score tied at 14 each. The Sages end their season 5-5 overall for a second straight year. DeCoin advances to take on Tolono Unity next week. First round high school playoff scores. We start in Class 1A from Friday night. Aurora Christian rolled GCMS 38-7, and it was Casey Westfield over Toledo Cumberland 49-7. Saturday action in 1A, Belleville Althoff Catholic toppled Tuscola 76-41. Hardin Calhoun rolled into Hayworth and dispatched the Hornets 42-14. Kewanee Wethersfield down D-back 41-6. Leroy blasted Villa Grove 45-14. Class 2A high school football playoff action. Quincy Notre Dame edged Arthur Lovington Atwood Hammond 21-14. Bloomington Central Catholic blanked Mendon Unity 47-0. Maroa Forsyth took care of Chicago Christian 42-6, and Shelbyville blanked Trenton Westland 48-0. Class 3A scores from Friday night. Lombard Montini beat Eureka 48-6. Saturday action, Prairie Central beat North Lawndale 48-6. Princeton down PBL 44-7. St. Joe Ogden beat Carlinville 38-15. Olympia topped Litchfield 20-17. And Tolono Unity took down Williamsville 35-21. In Class 4A from Friday night, it was Peoria Notre Dame over Kewanee, 28-13. Coal City blanked Normal U High, 44-0. And Rochester beat Lincoln, 59-14. Saturday action in 4A, Mount Zion downed Effingham, 21-12. Murfreesboro topped Taylorville, 49-13. Class 5A scores, Troy Triad beat Mahomet Seymour Friday night, 20-19. Joliet Catholic pounded Peoria, 40-16. Class 5A scores from Saturday, Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin blanked Thornton Fractional North, 23-0. Metamora down Decatur MacArthur, 36-14. And it was Providence Catholic over Morton, 21-14. Class 6A scores from Friday night, Washington beat Danville, 59-14. Saturday scores, Crete Monee beat Champaign Centennial, 47-13. Chatham Glenwood blasted Bloomington, 63-28. Normal West took care of Chicago Simeon, 37-6. And in Class 7A action, Normal Community blanked Summit Argo, 43-0. 25th ranked Illinois never trailed in the second half en route to an 82-75 win over top-ranked Kansas in a Maui Strong Relief matchup exhibition from the State Farm Center Sunday night. The victory came in the team's final exhibition tune-up before next week's regular season openers. Illinois' last victory over a top-ranked team in a regular season matchup came against top-ranked Indiana in 2013. Terrence Shannon Jr. led the way with a game-high 28 points and knocked down a team-high 5 threes, grabbing 2 steals in the win. Coleman Hawkins hit 4 3-pointers, finishing with 14 points, while he also tallied 5 boards, 2 steals, and a block. Quincy Guerrero recorded 11 of his 13 points in the second half, accounting for 8 straight Illini points late in the final period of play. He also notched a team-high 9 rebounds. Marcus Domask had 11 points, 5 boards, 2 of which came on the offensive glass. And Justin Harmon ended his night with 6 points and 6 rebounds, posting a team-high plus-minus rating of 11 in his time on the floor. Illinois knocked down 11 threes in total and shot 41% from behind the arc. The Orange and Blue also scored 14 points off their 13 offensive rebounds, out-rebounding Kansas 39-32. Neither side led by more than 3 in the first minutes of play, though Ty Rogers led the scoring charge with 6 of Illinois' first 11 points. With the game tied at 19 just over halfway through the opening frame, Illinois used a 12-4 run to take an 8-point advantage, its largest of the first 20 minutes. Hawkins played a big role in the run, knocking down 2 threes to put Illinois in front, 31-23. With just under 5 minutes to play, Shannon took over down the stretch, hitting 3 triples, including 1 with a hand in his face to close the half. Illinois led 43-37 heading to the break, with Shannon scoring 16 points and Illinois shooting 50% from the field and 44% from distance. They also established themselves on the glass. The Illini opened with a 6-2 run to retake the 8-point advantage, and the Jayhawks responded with an 8-0 run to even the game at 49 with just over 15 minutes to play. The tie did not last long, though, as 5 points from Domask and Shannon fueled a 7-0 run to put Illinois on the home side back in front. Kansas would tie the game at 68 with an 8-1 run, but the Illini went back in front with under 5 minutes to play. Guerrero accounted for 8 straight Illinois points at one stretch, including a tray to retake the lead to put the Illini back in front. When the Jayhawks cut their deficit to 1, Illinois responded with a 5-0 run capped by a Hawkins triple, extending the home side's advantage to 6, and Illinois locked down on the defensive end, forcing Kansas to miss 5 straight misses and holding the visitors without a basket for the final 3 minutes to secure the win. Illinois returns to the State Farm Center November 6th for its regular season opener against Eastern Illinois. Kirk Cousins threw a pair of touchdown passes, but left in the fourth quarter of a Vikings 24-10 win over the slumping Green Bay Packers on Sunday. Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell said after the game the Vikings fear an Achilles tendon injury, but Cousins was still undergoing evaluation at that time. He's never missed a game because of injury in his 12-year career. He did sit out a game at Green Bay in the 2021 season, but it was because of a positive COVID test. He walked gingerly to the sideline after getting sacked on consecutive plays midway early in the fourth quarter, though it appeared the injury happened before anyone made contact with him. Cousins' injury leaves the Vikings with limited options at quarterback. Jaron Hall, a rookie fifth-round pick from BYU, took over the rest of the game. The Vikings also have Nick Mullins, who made 17 starts but is currently on injured reserve with a back injury. The Packers lost their fourth straight and continued their penchant for slow starts. They have been outscored 73-9 in the first half of their past 5 games and have yet to score a touchdown before halftime in any of them. Jordan Love finished 24 for 41 for 229 yards with a touchdown and a pick. Green Bay did not get a first down until its 5th series when Love threw an 11-yard completion to Christian Watson with just over 4 minutes for the first half. The Packers host the Rams on Sunday. The LA Chargers routed the Chicago Bears 30-13 in front of a primetime audience. Justin Herbert threw for 298 yards and 3 touchdowns, directing the Chargers to points on their first 5 possessions, marking the first time in 6 seasons they've accomplished the feat. It was the first time in 2 years Herbert passed for 3 touchdowns in the first half, finding Austin Eckler, Simi Fehoko, and Donald Parham to stake the Chargers to a 24-7 lead at the break. The Chargers looked like they were going to be in front for a long time on defense when Chicago's Tyson Bagent connected with Darnell Mooney on a 41-yard completion down the right sideline on the first play. That would be the only play, though, the Chargers allowed of at least 20 yards. Bagent had a more difficult time in his second NFL start. The undrafted rookie finished 25 of 37 for 232 yards with 2 interceptions. The Bears visit the Saints next Sunday. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
ServPro of Piatt DeWitt Counties, the leader in fire, water, and mold restoration, is once again the exclusive sponsor of the WHOW Clinton Maroon Player of the Game, announced at the end of every Maroon sports broadcast. Our WHOW announcing staff will select that night's WHOW ServPro of Piatt DeWitt Counties Clinton Maroon Player of the Game. Their play will be highlighted in each WHOW Maroon postgame broadcast, and that player receives a certificate from WHO and ServPro of Piatt DeWitt Counties. Find out the many services ServPro of Piatt DeWitt Counties offers by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Paul Scarrant, CEO of Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. With October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, our state-of-the-art 3D mammo machine can help detect early cancer. Find out details by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
For the latest in Central Illinois agricultural news, visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com. Get updated information on markets, weather, ag news, local interviews with NAFB farm broadcaster Jared White, and much, much more. All at IllinoisFarmRadio.com.